Hi, everyone. Hey, back again, and I'm excited because I get to find out who's the guest fan is for this week. So, thanks again for joining us. Look forward to finding out some interesting facts about the fan and just discussing and having a good time. And I'm glad you're here to join us again. So, let's get to it.
And today, the moment with the fan is with Hugo Manero from Spain. ¿Qué tal estás, Hugo? How are you, Hugo?
Hi, I'm very well, very excited and processing all the emotions of this weekend.
Oh
Hola,
yeah,
la.
oh yeah,
And
yeah. Great game. Glad you could join us today, Hugo. Yeah, we're gonna get into that. And are you from Madrid, or what part of Spain are you currently residing in?
First of all, pleasure is mine, Richmond, being here talking with Dan and with a future Hall of Famer. I expect of the Miami Dolphins, Richmond Webb, the one player I saw playing against Bruce Smith, a lot of games. No, I'm not from Madrid. I was born in a little city in Logroño. And when I started my college, my university studies, I have to move on to another city called Zaragoza. Is between Madrid and Barcelona.
Okay, 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 okay. All right.
so, my first question for Hugo, and it's a real Spain question. Are you going with Real Madrid or Barcelona?
I'm a supporter of Real Zaragoza. that,
Good answer.
but it isn't a good team in this moment. He's an historical soccer
Yeah.
team, but in this moment, no. My sons, my family are Real Madrid supporters.
Okay, so going to Santiago Bernabéu, it was something very great for your family. Showing you there, it was the high topics, seeing you there in the new Santiago Bernabéu, because it's a very new stadium. It's come from 3 years ago, I guess, or 3 years ago. So it was amazing. But hey, it's not the moment when I talk with you. It's a moment when you will talk with Richmond Webb and you will have questions for Richmond Webb. Be careful. He's doing that like a journalist. So everything that you're saying, he will put it on social media and make sure that you will have a bad time after that. So be careful, my friend. I see you guys at the end of the show, but just want to tell you that it was a pleasure seeing the Dolphins in Europe, and especially in Real Madrid house, Santiago Bernabeu. I think not everybody understands the magnitude for the worldwide perspective, because the Miami Dolphins for sure become very famous after that game, and because they have to understand that it's something huge, and probably you're going to see 9% to 10 all over the world. They all know Santiago Bernabeu and the Real Madrid, so it was amazing. But I led that with Richmond Webb, that will say every time he talk about Real Madrid, it will say it's a soccer team, but not. It's a football team.
Real football, not American football. I've learned my lesson, Hugo, on that. That was, yeah, it's American football and the real football. So yeah, I get it. But man, thanks for joining the show today. Definitely appreciate. And I guess I always like to start off and ask people, how did you officially, or when did you become a Dolphin fan, or how did that process start for you?
All the process started when I have to move on from my city, from the city where I was born to the city where I was going to start my university studies. In this city, in Zaragoza, I shared an apartment with other guys. We are a student apartment, and I started studying at night because during the rest of the day, the apartment was very busy, coming people, and very noisy. Uh, in that apartment, we had international channels of TV, and when I made breakouts in my study at night, on Sunday night, Thursday night, I discovered the NFL.
Okay.
I fell in love immediately with the sport because I practiced martial arts, karate do, a long time ago. I was sub-champion of Spain, and the battle in the trenches between the D line and the offensive line was amazing for me since the first moment. I discovered the game, and I realized I had to choose one team to support. In that moment, in 1999, I only knew two names about football. One was Joe Montana, and the other one that's Dan Marino's. I saw a picture of both quarterbacks. I saw the picture of Joe Montana. I didn't like the 49ers jersey. I didn't like what I saw. And
Okay.
I saw Dan Marino's picture, and I fell in love immediately with the color, the number 13, his hardly hair. I say to me, this boy has aura, and this is my team.
That's amazing. I guess Dan was joking with you about me putting stuff on social media, but now that I know you're a martial arts specialist, you ain't got to worry about nothing out of me. But it's funny, but for me, it's a appreciation because most people follow the wide receivers and the quarterbacks and the smaller guys, but for you to say you loved in the trenches where everything was going on and the physicality of the game. That's one of the first times, not just internationally, but when I talk to people, most people don't focus on what goes on in the trenches and this and that. And so you definitely you can add me to your fan list from answering the question, uh, answering the question that way. So Hugo, did you actually go to the game in Madrid this past weekend?
Yes, I did. I did it. It was amazing. It was an unbelievable experience for me.
Hmm.
Coming, being a fan of the Miami Dolphins long time ago, and I've been a lot of years watching the games alone in my house here in Spain. All the people around me didn't understand why I choose football like one of my favorite sports. All the people here say to me, why did you see that rugby with helmets? Here in Spain, long time ago, the people thought it was rugby with helmets. And since social media and internet makes the world international and is so easy to connect with other people, I started to realize there were a lot of football fans in Spain, and meeting with most of them that I didn't knew in person was amazing. And watching, of course, to Waddell, Devon Chain, Jack Jones with his intersection, and feeling that the Dolphins was going to win the first NFL game in my country was a special moment for me.
I think it was a special moment for all of us. I agree with all that. And see, I think you're fortunate because, like you say, you live in Spain. But for me, um, the part that I was really amazed with, and I didn't get to see all of it. That's why the architecture is it looks like it's a really, really beautiful city with, the trees and the buildings. And I didn't even know what type of building I was looking at, but I was just taken back by the architecture and, um, you know, Spain is a lot older than the United States. So when you see how they were able to do that many, many years ago with that type of detail and perfection, I love the old architecture and stuff like that. But what are some of the things as far as the fans were able to experience as far when they came over? For the game in Madrid because, for the people like me that wasn't able to actually attend the game, you see stuff on social media, but it's a little different when you actually there. But I'm sure they had tours and stuff you could do. But if you can go into that to kind of give everybody a little knowledge, a little taste of what they possibly could if they ever decide to come to like Madrid or Barcelona is another spot in Spain that I've had some friends go and they love it. I mean, so if you can share a little bit of that, I'm sure the fan base would definitely appreciate it.
I think, like you said, Madrid is a very beautiful city, one historic city with all all buildings, good architecture. But one of the things people coming from outside Spain realizes is there is a really good food. Here we are a Mediterranean diet with good food, and the best thing I suppose the people realize that the Spanish character, the Spanish people is really kind, passionate, always helping others, always trying to make the tourists feel good in our country and feels Madrid and Spain like home.
So basically, what you're telling me, most people from Spain are totally opposite of Dan. That's basically what you're telling me. Y'all treat
Okay.
people nice, and no, I'm just joking, but that's good, and that's one thing I had heard about the food is just, but when you said Mediterranean and this and that, that's definitely an experience, and I do look forward to coming to try to visit that part of the world or whatever, because I think anytime you can go somewhere else that you haven't been and then have a positive experience, the people show you love, embrace you, and then that just makes it all worthwhile. And I think a lot of times we don't get an opportunity to experience that, but that's been consistently, other people have told me that about Spain as well. I just wanted to get your viewpoint on it, but I almost forgot about the food. But now that you told me the food is amazing, I'm definitely gonna have to get over there and experience that. Now,
Honest game here in Spain,
uh-huh.
but I'm sure the Dolphins will play another game here in Spain. You came here and we can show you the food, the good restaurants, and the character of the Spanish Dolphins fans and people in general.
Oh, I would love that. I would love that. So let me ask you, do you have any questions? I've been asking most of the questions. Is it something you might want to know, ask me or whatever? I don't want to just dominate the conversation. I want you to have, some input on it too.
Uh, the first question I will do it is how do you like a famous future Hall of Famer player of the Miami Dolphins see this international strategy of the NFL uh, going outside the United States, making or trying that in around all around the world increase the interest in the football?
Yeah, I think it's amazing, first of all. And I'll tell you this, Hugo, and I played a long time ago. I started playing in 1990, and I was fortunate to play in Berlin. I played in Tokyo, and I played in Mexico City. But at that time, that's why I know everything is evolving. At that time, those games were played in the preseason. So now they're playing actual regular season games, which really count, which to me says, yeah, we appreciate you being a fan, but we really appreciate you because now we're willing to, sacrifice a home game at one of our stadiums and come here to show you the appreciation, because that let me know that they're really committed to expanding the experience with the fans. Yeah, we would come over like a week or whatever, but a lot of times if it's a preseason game, some of the starters might play for a couple of plays and then get out. You get to see the actual real game that counts. And when I saw that, and I think this year they had maybe 7 games internationally. So back then it might be 2 or 3, but now to have that many games each week, somewhere else, Brazil, like you said, Madrid, London, they hit several places, and so now it creates a buzz or an excitement for not only American fans, because they might say, oh, I might want to go to London, I want to go to Madrid, so I can actually go and watch the game. But then you get to go and then you meet fans internationally that's wearing the same NFL apparel that you are that feel the same way about the team. And I think it's just a great experience. I think sports bring people together regardless of whether you're Spanish, you're black, you're white, you're German. It brings everybody because you got to come and go. Everybody like their team. And so I think this is going to continue, and it's probably going to increase to the point to where if they're playing 7 now, I say within the next 10 years, they'll probably be playing 12 games. So they'll keep hitting, and then I think they'll figure out. It seems like it's a good draw no matter wherever they decide to go, but definitely some of those teams where you got a real strong presence and people really enjoy it. I can see it, but I think it's really great because, like you said, you're there, and a lot of times people can't afford to come all the way to America to see a game, but now, even if it's every couple of years or whatever, the team that you support, you can actually go see and probably interact with the players. And I think that's priceless, and that's what I can appreciate. And I love the way that they're promoting their American football, not football, but American football.
Okay. Another question: if we come back to your professional years, I hear you saying a lot of times the best player you have ever matched is Bruce Smith. How did you prepare in those years for the games against one of the best rushers of the NFL?
I think you already know it's going to be a tough game. You already know just watching the film, you see his capability, his athletic ability. You see that if this guy gets going, he can really change the whole momentum of the game and just wreak havoc. And he had been doing that even before I got into the NFL. And so you've got to make sure that you're really dialed in focused. You got to make sure you know your assignments. You got to make sure that you communicate with the guys that you're playing, beside, because it's a team sport. And, you just got to say it's going to be 4 quarters of just, hey, I just got to give it all I got. You're not going to win all the time. You're not going to lose all the time, but it's going to be a really, really tough battle. And if you can come out 50-50, hey, that's almost a win. So that's just the way I approached it. And I knew a guy like that could, he could take your quarterback out or whatever. He was that type of guy. Not intentionally hurt nobody, but I'm just saying the way he would hit and just punish people was you had to really be dialed in. So I tried to limit that as much as possible, but it was never easy. And I was glad when you kind of got that game over because you almost like kind of survived it. But yeah, I have a tremendous amount of respect and admiration for him because of the way he played the game. And I think he made me raise my level of play. So I always look forward to playing against him, but I knew it was going to be the toughest guy I had to play.
And did you feel in those years that protecting a quarterback like Dan Marino, one of the best of the game, was or added you extra pressure?
Yeah, I would say the pressure. I think when me and Keith Sims got drafted, I've told people this before. Dan Marino was already the Dan Marino. Like we'll get back with Dan in a little bit. He's Dan Marino, but this is the Dan Marino. We joke about that, but the way he had played those first 8 or 9 years before me and Keith got there, truly one of the best to ever lace him up and play the game. One of the best quarterbacks to ever, throw the football or whatever. And that's why he's in the Hall of Fame now. But he just wanted to be, I didn't want to be remembered as the guy that, possibly got him hurt or injured or this and that. So to me, in the back of my mind, that was motivation to say, hey, I got to do everything possible I can to keep this guy healthy. And, if something happens, I don't want it to be because of something that, I messed up on a play or whatever. And, I was just fortunate, but it just made me work hard and stay focused and tuned in when you're blocking for a guy like that, because when you play with him, you realize that if you give him time and he can do what he do, that's why we won a lot of football games, because he could just shred a defense up. And I learned a lot from watching how he approached the game. Just he's a pro's pro, and so I learned lessons. Not always asking, just watch how he took time to watch extra film, the way he prepared practice. He took everything serious, and I just kind of modeled some of those guys that I knew had really good success that played for the Dolphins. I say, if they're doing it, it's working for them. If I do it, hopefully it should work for me.
Okay. Do you think the NFL has changed a lot since those years, since the 80s, from today's? Because Dan Marino did amazing passing stats, but in those years the game was focused on the running game more than the passing game. But a lot of rules has changed to protect the quarterback, to to achieve the passing game. What do you think about that?
Oh yeah, the NFL definitely has changed, and I can tell you ain't no rookie. You've been studying it for a while to even bring up a question like that. But yeah, the game has definitely changed. They really have dialed in on player safety, especially with all the concussions and stuff like that. Now, like you'll see guys wearing, depending on the position you play or your past medical history, different guys' helmets look different. And I ain't figured it all out, but it's a reason why some guys have that. And then now they even have an extra piece of padding that they can put over the helmet in the event to try to minimize concussions and brain injuries and stuff like that, because it's a physical game. The way we train, the way we work out, get our bodies, and then the impact of going full speed, hitting guys and stuff like that. They know that's part of the game, but like you said, they limit it. And Dan was ahead of his time, because you're right. When he started playing, it was a run dominant where most teams ran the football. They threw it, but not. Sometimes we throw the ball 50 times a game, and most teams will throw it 25, 30 times. So he was throwing a lot more. So a lot of times people ask, could you transition into the way they play now? But Dan was doing that back then. So he wouldn't have any issues adjusting to what they're doing now. He was like, I told y'all, 20, 30 years ago, this is how the game should be played. Give me the football and let me throw it. And that's what they're doing now. And I think that's why so many guys look up to him. Even guys playing now that played along his era, they were just amazed at, how he could throw the football and this and that. And so the game definitely has changed, but I understand why, because it's player safety. They're trying to minimize, head injuries and stuff like that. But man, you know your history, brother. I'm telling you, you on top of it.
As I said to you before, I'm a martial arts practicing. And how do you think is one of the most important traits that an offensive line had to improve, coming from the university to the NFL to succeed in the league against the edge rushers of the NFL?
Yeah, I think the thing is, and they're starting to throw the football more. I think the thing that you got to adjust to, for me, it was the speed of the game. It seemed like it's a lot faster. And a lot of times you can be a rookie, but you could be playing against a guy that's been playing 7 or 8 years. So he's already probably hit his peak or whatever. He knows how to study film. He knows how to check to see. He's going to look at your stance. He's going to look at anything possibly that can give him a tip or edge to say, okay, this is a pass, this is a run. You look for the little things. It's not so much because everybody's big, strong, but you be looking, okay, even me with a defensive lineman, is he lining up tight? Is he lining up way wide? If he does line up way wide, what does he typically do when he's out there? If he's tight, it could be a possible stunt between guys. So you just learn from studying film to kind of look at alignments. And when you see stuff change, or he's got this foot back, or normally he's got that foot back, but now he's changed. You start looking for the little details and say, okay, it's a good chance this could happen. It might not, but if it does, you're not just caught by surprise. And I think that's the thing that you start learning or changing from when you play in college when you come to the NFL.
Okay. And now coming back to the 2025, how do you see, or what's your opinion about these Miami Dolphins?
I think I feel much better the last couple of games. I think um, based on before the season started, I think my expectations were way higher than what we are now. But that's why you have expectations. And I think the good thing is they're starting to play the way that I expected them to play early on. We went through a real rough patch where we lost some games. A couple of them we were up, and we weren't able to close those out. But the last couple of weeks have been really good. It seemed like they're giving the effort, and I just take one game at a time. But it looked like they've gotten through the rough patch and seemed like we were back on track. So looking forward to the rest of the season. As long as they stay focused, play one game at a time, and just give it your all, I can live with the results. But it seems like they've gotten back on track.
I don't think if you think like me, because I think these two last games has had coincided with the improvement of the rookies, especially on the trenches another time. Players like Jonas Avellaneda and in the defensive line, Kenneth Grant and Jordan Phillips. I think they have played the better games of their careers in those two games, and that has uh, possibility possibilitated that the running game was better in these last games. The defensive line has pressured more the quarterbacks, and I think there is a real improvement of these players, especially Jonas Avellaneda.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think early on, I think it seems like we have more balance with our offense. Before it seemed like Tua was probably dropping back, throwing the ball 40 plus times a game. But now that we're running the ball, running it more effectively, it's maybe 30 times a game, 25 to 30 times a game, and we're getting the running game. And so I think we're a more balanced offense, and that makes that even that even helps the defense because now your drives are sustained longer and your defense has more time to rest in between series, which they come out there fresher. So definitely getting the running game. Like you said, Jonas Salvanea, it's starting to come together. He was a rookie getting thrown out there. Sometimes it takes you a minute to get it and settle down and gravitate it. But he's been playing pretty good the last couple of games, and now you'll start seeing everything come together. And now I think with the more balanced attack, it fits the Miami Dolphins rather than trying to just throw all the time. Have more of a balanced attack where we run and then we throw the ball as well, but it's more of a balanced attack. Yeah.
Okay. Richmond, you have played in a lot of stadiums, uh, great stadiums. I don't know if you have seen the new Santiago Bernabéu and his system to maintain the grass, always natural grass, laying down the surface, the grass, and maintaining it with artificial light and with water. You think is one of the better stadiums outside United States to playing NFL games, and a real exciting technical solution for achieve natural grass in all the stadiums and now turf.
Yeah, I think I'm amazed at how well they prepare the grass stadiums. It's like, say, here in Houston, they grow it on pallets, and they can pick it up, take it out, and bring it back in. In the same way, when I saw the field over in Madrid, I was amazed. But not only for playing football, but even for playing football, which what we call soccer. Um, the better the field, the better the footing, it minimizes the opportunities for you to have injuries and stuff like that. So I've played on some fields that you'd be like, man, I just need to get through this game. But when you play on a really good surface, it puts your mind more at ease, and you can just focus on playing the game rather than, you might, a lot of times you see people slipping and slipping and slipping. It's because of the surface that you're trying to play on and all that. But that looked beautiful. And I think I even saw them how they were bringing it into the stadium. I was like, man, it's a state of the art. It's totally different than probably what they did in the 70s and 80s. They've taken it to a whole nother level. So definitely impressed with the stadium and the grass, the field, all that over there. That's one of the best around, hands down.
Okay. I don't know if you want to ask something to me about this last week or this international experience in Madrid about the Dolphins.
Yeah, I'll ask one more. So, kind of tell us about the international experience with the Dolphins, and we'll probably wrap it up from there because I know you got things to do. But so people can kind of know, we'll let you close it out with that one about the international experience for the Miami Dolphins.
It's amazing being part of it. Connecting with fans in all Europe and coming here from United States. The German Dolphin Club is incredible. A lot of great people, supporters. The franchise has helped us a lot with all the activities in this international game in Madrid. The people from France, like Danny, people coming from Toronto, from Italy, Deutschland, Netherlands, Switzerland. When you realize that are connecting with other fans in all Europe and around the world, it's incredible. And seeing the Santiago Bernabéu with a lot of fans all supporting or majority supporting the Dolphins, singing the fight song after the touchdowns is incredible. I can't describe with words and how well. This is one thing I wanna say. How well the franchise, the media department, all the people working for the Miami Dolphins, Felipe Formiga, the president of the international marketing strategy, has treated us. Has they treated us like a first class organization?
I think that's important. It's always how you treat people, and I think you got to have good relationships with not only your own fans but international fans, because, like I said, a lot of times you get one opportunity to make an impression, and if you know you're coming over there, and like you said, coming from Italy, France, all these Germany, all these people coming to support you, the last thing you want to do is disappoint them or not treat them and show them love and kindness and this and that. And I could tell the way your face lit up when you were talking about it that you really had a good experience, and I think that's what makes me feel good. So, hey, let's keep it going. I would love to. I think the NFL will continue to have games internationally, and maybe if Dan learns to be a nicer person, maybe we'll let him come next time. But he's got to work on some character flaws and all that. But we're gonna be patient with him. We'll keep working with him.
Yeah, it's always the same thing. I mean, I'm trying to be the nicest guy in the world, and he always treat me like that. Can you believe it, Hugo? Can you believe Hugo?
You got a lot of work to do.
I will just finish with that. First of all, you mentioned Felipe Formiga. Of course, we have to mention him. It's very important in this international expansion. So, for your work, Felipe. I just can say buen dia in Brazilian. I will stop that, and after that, I will speak in Spanish. But it has been awesome, and I don't know how we can show up on the Roger Goodell's timeline on social media. But hey, Roger Goodell, if you're looking about international connection, I think this show has been the best in the world in that, because we bring in people for Germany, Mexico, France, and now Spain, and this is all the wish of Richmond Webb, because he wants to learn and met every story of international fans, and it's so great. We also have people from America, of course, but thank you, Richmond, to allow this to happen. And Hugo, it's a privilege to have you. I mean, we are not very far away. We have to find a way, because Saragossa, it's still, I don't know if you're still living there, but it's not that far from France. So we have to find a way to make that happen. But you need to have a hug from me.
Okay. No, privilege is mine. And to Richmond, I want to say him that it's so important for us, the supporters, the fans, that real players, real icons of the franchise, players like him, with Pro Bowl, future Hall of Fame, I'm sure of that, connect with fans like us, and they are so kind, so natural with that. Is a gift for all the fans, and makes us happy. I'm so happy right now. This is a moment I thought I will never had in my life. Being here, talking with Richmond. This past weekend, I had the pleasure to make a little interview with Jordan Phillips, the player that I announced in the draft. Amazing, amazing stuff. All these things I couldn't imagine only 3 years ago.
Well, I will say this: you definitely were the star of the show today, and I think that's what it's about: is people connecting and getting to experience stuff that you typically wouldn't, And so, like you saying, talking with Jordan Phillips, or coming on the podcast and making me feel like I'm the guest and you the star of the show. That doesn't happen every day. You know what I'm saying? So, hey. That's what we're here for, and I think that's why Dan came up with the idea that you can
was
can
your
see.
idea, not mine.
There you go again. But it's just when you can see people truly appreciate it. It's just you got to give back, and like it makes you feel good. It makes me feel good, and I think that's what it's about. And we just a genuine show, and when we started it. It was about the fan base. It was about, talking to people that just didn't get that opportunity to do it. So I'm just glad you had time that you could come on the show and share your experience and have a conversation with us. But we appreciate you just as much as you appreciate us. So thank you so much for coming on today.
No.
Muchas gracias, Hugo. Muchas gracias.
De nada.
Muchas gracias.
Muchas de nada.
And my final word will be this. We can't make announcement now because there is so much thing that can happen. But I will tell you this to every European fan: you might have your chance to not just talk with Richmond Webb one day on screen, but maybe in real life in Europe. Oh. Maybe that will happen one day. We never know. But I make a spoiler alert here, Richmond. Sorry, but we have to get viral. I mean, if it's not has to be only McDaniel being viral every week. We have to be viral too. So, just
Definitely.
saying that. Have all a great day and enjoy your life. It's so cool now to be Dolphins for at least 2 weeks.
That's it. Hey, great show again. I'm glad you got an opportunity to tune in. If you don't mind, we appreciate the comments. We're trying to do better. If it's some suggestions you would like to make, we're always open to them. But any critiques or whatever, how we can improve the show, we welcome those. And if we can make it happen for you guys, we will. But thanks for always tuning in with us. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And we'll see you next week.